reveals that the core of the human brain is the locus coeruleus, which is a structure that is black because it contains large amounts of neuromelanin, which is essential for its operation. 2, black infants sit, crawl, and walk sooner than whites. 3, Carol Barnes notes that human mental processes are controlled by melanin, that same chemical which gives blacks their superior physical and mental abilities. 4, some scientists have revealed that most whites are unable to produce melanin because their pineal glands are often calcified or non-functioning. Pineal calcification rates with Africans are 5 to 15%, Asians 15 to 25%, and Europeans 60 to 80%. This is the chemical basis for the cultural differences between blacks and whites. And 5, melanin endows blacks with greater mental, physical, and spiritual abilities, something which cannot be measured based on Eurocentric standards. End quote. Let that sink in. Melanin endows black people with greater mental, physical, and spiritual ability.
Melanin is a versatile molecule. Not only is it responsible for giving us our UV-blocking complexion, at the cellular level, it gobbles up harmful radicals that lead to diseases such as cancer and Parkinson's. But that's only the beginning. Over the past decades, researchers have focused on what might be melanin's most promising talent yet discovered, the ability to conduct electricity. That's important, because if we fancy a future where environmentally benign electronics help us fight disease, monitor our health, and store energy, we're going to need bio-friendly materials. And what better material for the job than one made right in-house? This is melanin in its most common form. When it comes to electrical charge, melanin acts as a sort of bank, always ready to lend out or take electrons depending on the environment. Chained together, as they naturally tend to do, melanin molecules can shuffle electrons and surrounding ions end to end. The result is an all-natural electrode material. In terms of performance, it's not on par with the electronic materials we find in our phones and laptops. But because melanin is 100% compatible with our body's makeup, it's a much safer starting material for building electronic devices, both for us and the environment. Researchers have shown that melanin can act as a switch when sandwiched between metal electrodes, turning on and off under different applied voltages. It seems like a simple trick, but that switching behavior is critical to the operation of any computing device. Polydopamine, a synthetic melanin analog, has been used to extract harmful metal ions from water, and polydopamine-coated nanoparticles have been shown to boost the sensitivity of tests designed to seek out diseases like HIV, Zika, and cancer. Researchers are still learning how melanin behaves when surrounded by the machinery that makes useful electronics work. But continued efforts from chemists, physicists, and materials scientists are likely to result in exciting new applications for this highly versatile molecule.
Something I've thought about for a really long time. I've just never said anything because I don't want people to think I'm crazy. Melanin is worth $511 a gram. That's 10 times more than gold. Look at this. The demand for melanin has increased dramatically since Young's report. The military and other corporate entities have big plans for melanin technologies, and melanated humans are the most potent source. Other reports show that melanated people are supposed to carry like $40 million worth of melanin in their body. Getting deeper into this stuff, there's been the possibility of them finding alien technology in Antarctica. Now, at the Surreal Nathan has a theory that it's not alien technology, it's native technology. He says they have to use empathy, though, to get it to work. What if they don't need empathy? They need melanin.
What's up, my friends? I'm not going to drop the camera, I promise. I am between podcasts today. About to do a podcast with True Kava and thought I'd catch a little bit of sun. Up here in the Pacific Northwest, man, it has been crazy gray like a February. And it's just been driving me crazy. We finally got proper weather. Look at that. Yeah, that's my backyard. It's pretty amazing. And so I'm sitting here and I did something a little bit nuts. Wait, did I just say that out loud? Oh my God, I did. So I've been using this peptide. It's called MSH, melanocyte stimulating hormone, for quite a while. It's something that gets messed up from toxic mold. And if you read a little bit in Superhuman, but if you read Headstrong, I go really deep into what's going on here. This is a compound that your body makes, and it causes you to secrete melanin. And melanin has a superpower that's really almost no one knows about, even in modern neuroscience. And it's that when you have this melanin inside your eyes or inside your brain, they used to call it junk melanin, it actually works like a capacitor. It lets you make extra electrons in your brain. And so I take stuff to increase that level. And one of the ways you can get natural skin protection, if you have light skin like me, Northern European background, MSH, melanocyte stimulating hormone. It's oftentimes called melanotan, and it's a peptide, a small sequence of amino acids. It's part of the anti-aging stuff that I do write about in Superhuman. So if you guys want like the full chapter on that, get Superhuman. That's on Amazon. And what you're going to do is, if you were decided to do that stuff, you inject a very small amount, and then you get tan, like in a day or two. It's ridiculous. You're in the sun for a half hour. So I have this like pretty decent tan here, but it doesn't take a lot of sun. And now once you have a tan, you are now protected from sun. If you want to increase your ability to make a tan, you need to eat more melanoid.
This is Brad Bishop coming y'all from the Lions Republic. You know, when you swim around in the rabbit hole that's very dark and very deep, you come across things that you wish you wouldn't have. And I'm here to introduce to you another thing, because as we dive in this hole of traffickers and abusers and all this, you come across, and you can't help it because it's right there, the whole melanin harvesting trade. Okay, let me help y'all understand quickly what that is. Melanin is an aromatic biopolymer and organic semiconductor that is responsible for human skin tone. It's in black cats, black Angus cows, crows. It's that polymer that makes that skin tone. What a lot of people don't know is melanin is worth more per gram than gold, platinum, and silver. Melanin is coming in at 353. It's actually, I think, gone up to $428 per gram. Whereas gold is like $53, platinum's like $52, and there's this big, humongous market for it. And when and I'm going to use code here, when HC and BC and their foundation, when, you know, the earthquakes happened in Haiti and they were going on over there to help, you know, what they did was they planted their foot in Haiti. And by doing that, their foundation on the surface, you know, it's pretty much, you know, it's planting their feet there in pretense of helping with their sustainable growth and agriculture, energy, environment, tourism, and manufacturing. And that's on the forefront. But on the backside of it, the trafficking, the slaves, and I'm trying to talk code here so the algorithms won't pick this up, but also it had established a melanin harvesting trade that the foundation is taking advantage of on the Haiti people. And they are using the people to harvest the stuff, okay? It kind of will help you understand why the Democrats in general are for Planned Parenthood, and the parents making the choice after the birth of the child on if they want it or they don't. It creates a legal market for such things as adrenochrome, a legal market for such things as melanin, and it enables them on that scale to sell the body parts of children that were either captured for it or legally done by the choice of the mother. You know, I was like, okay, so I've gone through the adrenochrome route. So what is melanin and its purpose? And it gives you an elevated self-esteem, sense of self-esteem, self-worth, and healing from the emotional and psychological effects of MAFA. I was like, well, what's MAFA? MAFA, and these are the words that are connected to MAFA: African Holocaust, Holocaust of enslavement, and Black Holocaust. So I'm learning here that HC and BC and their foundation have pitched forward and are using the desperation of the people in order for this black market, no pun intended, to harvest organs from the Haitian people. It is some of the most disgusting stuff I'm coming across. But if anything at all, I wanted to connect this for you because when it comes to the foundation and the cronies that are involved, whether it's HC or BC or if it's Adam Schiff or John Podesta, you kind of wonder now why the whole walnut sauce came into play with Podesta's emails.
It's so unbelievable, George. They're using it in computer chips now because it has an ability to transduce electrical energy. Can you imagine this? It has this incredible ability to hold on to and transduce and manipulate electrons, electronic energy, and photons, photonic energy. It's a fascinating molecule. Melanin, pig.
Black, 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 I'm black, black, my thoughts so black, 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 I'm black, my skin is so black, I'm rocking all black, everything is black. Rims on this black, on black, on black, on black, on black.
Ladies and gentlemen, melanin does not just color your skin. I repeat, melanin does not just color your skin and make it beautiful. So, in the origin of life on Earth, when that began, there was a highly ordered chemical energy that actually emanated from melanin. And when we look at what the word emanate means, it means it originated from, produced by, issued or spread out from. So before life began, before there was any movement, melanin existed. So life is really a flow of energy. Think about there being the stillness or this darkness, and from that life began. The flow of energy moved. So that stillness, that darkness was actually melanin. So melanin is actually the source of life, a life source. So for anyone that's actually on this planet, on this earth, or in this earth, one actually must have melanin. But that's another series, another podcast for another day. So what do we think this highly ordered chemical energy was that was the movement that came from melanin? Okay, when we think about energy, energy is light, right? This means melanin is the fullness of the electromagnetic spectrum. So what is the electromagnetic spectrum? So if everything is made up of light, light is actually made up of tiny particles called photons, which is subatomic. And subatomic just basically means that you're not able to see it with the visible eye. It's invisible. It's all around us, but it's invisible. So all matter is actually made up of light. All matter is made up of light, from radio waves to gamma waves, X-rays, cosmic rays, TV waves, heat, and electrical currents. All of those things are actually considered light, different forms of light. So with those forms of light, melanin itself has the ability to actually absorb all of those rays and waves, all of those photons, all of those subatomic invisible components that we do not see. Melanin absorbs it. So what melanin does is it takes light from the environment, again, because we are surrounded by light, we are surrounded by energy, and that light is not always just necessarily the sun. That is one component of it, but it takes that light energy, absorbs it into the skin, and turns it actually into a chemical energy for the body. So it distributes this energy that it absorbs from the lights in the environments, and it transmits it to the cells, and it transmits it in a way where it nourishes, regenerates, or charges the actual cell. So melanin takes from the environment and actually feeds, nourishes, regenerates the cells in the body from the light that beams upon the body. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand what I'm saying. Melanin has the ability to absorb whether that's sunlight, heat, whatever type of light, X-ray, TV waves, radio waves, and it actually feeds or recharges the cells of the body. Now, there is some light that is not beneficial or not food or very harmful to the melanin, but again, melanin has the ability to absorb it, and if it's not good food or nutrient for the cells, it can disperse it from the cells and from the body. Melanin is a semiconductor, a superconductor. Even when it comes to any of the cells being damaged, melanin is present at the site of all tissue repair. So anytime there's any tissue being repaired, so a good example of that is when you get a cut on the surface of your skin and it heals. Melanin is an important component in that healing. It is directly responsible for all humans and their ability to resist diseases. There was a study actually shown where they took the HIV virus and they placed it in a cell what had melanin that was fully activated, and it could not live in the presence of that cell. It would not replicate. Why is this? Because melanin is an intelligence all of its own. So imagine now that which is already within the body, that exists as energy outside, is actually placed on the surface of black people's skin. If melanin is present in all cells of the body and exists prior to the beginning of life on Earth and can be seen as a semiconductor of energy, that it heals and repairs all cells and all energy, this means that within itself gives us a very special attribute when we have melanin on the abundance of our skin. So think about this. When it comes to anything sensory, whatever we touch, see, smell, taste, or hear, impulses, the stimuli from that goes up to the brain processes it, and it allows us to respond. When our melanin is activated, melanin itself on the skin does not even have to send that message up to the inner brain within our bodies. The melanin acts as a brain cell within the cells on our skin. So melanin is also a form of brain cell. It's the intelligence of that melanin that actually it gives us a special ability. It gives us the ability to walk into any environment and know exactly what is happening in that environment. So we wonder why black people has a certain amount of sensitivity where we go into places and we can quote unquote feel a vibe. We can feel the energy in the room. We can feel that something is moving negatively towards us, or we can feel when something is moving positively towards us. Our melanin, ladies and gentlemen, is our sixth sense. It gives us that extrasensory perception. It is our superpower. But we've been for centuries, we've been for decades, not knowing the essence of who we are, and the essence of who we are is the origin of life. We hear it all the time. Black people are the original, so on and so forth. This scientific information clearly states that in the beginning, life flowed from melanin. Ladies and gentlemen, why is it that we're in the state that we're in? Why is it that our community has been oppressed and suppressed for generation after generation? Why is it that we are largely hated? Why is it that we are largely targeted? They have studied your melanin and they know the advantage that your melanin gives you, and they don't want you to have that advantage. Therefore, they have spent years, centuries studying your melanin, and they know exactly what your melanin can do. Imagine if your melanin is the fullness of all energy. That means you can perceive all energy, all light, visible and invisible. Extrasensory perception isn't actually a superpower. It is the norm for beings with melanated skin that are melanin dominant. But for those beings that cannot perceive the full electromagnetic spectrum, when I say that, I mean all energy, all light, clearly there's a disadvantage that they will have. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Stay tuned for the remainder of the information that will teach you, that will highlight to you those things that deactivate your melanin, those things that activate your melanin, how you can reactivate your melanin and reclaim the God particle that your melanin is. Again, in the beginning, it was melanin. And it was melanin that produced life.